childhood. Let's start there. Who was in it?
Everybody.
Oh, everybody I know, but who do you remember when you
Well,
start go
first
back?
of all, I think it's important for us to know that I was born at Parkland Hospital. Parkland Hospital, not the one where President Kennedy was assassinated, well, where they brought him after the assassination, but the first and old Parkland Hospital on Maple.
Oh,
where,
really?
Where,
Okay.
yeah, and where babies, black children had to be born in the basement of the hospital.
And this is what year?
1952. We had to be born in the basement of the old Parkland Hospital. And the white babies, of course, were up there for show. But, I grew up in southeast Dallas on Mills Place in the projects. I'm a project baby. And I was 1 year old, of course. And so my mother was a beautician. My father worked at the country club. And we eventually moved out of the projects into a house over on Hamilton Street. And these are just things I remember. And, Christmas was a big time for us. We were family. There's no one person at that age that I can relate to other than, our family.
There wasn't one person that you can remember as far as, not necessarily 1 year old, I know you remember that, but later on down the line, maybe in kindergarten and grade school that influenced you, do you still remember had an impact on you at that early age?
Well, in the community in where we lived, there were different folks that we looked up to. I do remember getting hit in the jaw by Walter Cunningham in the front
Who's
yard.
Walter Cunningham, the bully?
Well, we were
Neighborhood bully?
boxing. We were out boxing in the front yard, and I looked off, and he clocked me right in my jaw. And I remember Walter Cunningham.
He influenced you, huh?
He influenced me to be careful if I get in a fight. Other than that, it's not. Other than my father, I followed in my father's footsteps, and he's the most and the biggest influencer. And my grandfather.
So he was the biggest influencer.
Yeah, my daddy. I always looked up to my daddy, especially on Sundays when it was time to get our allowance.
Sunday? You paid on Sunday?
Yeah, we had to go to church. We had to have something put in church.
So you took your allowance that you earned and put it in the offering, all of it?
Not all of it. but on Sunday mornings we would look forward in getting our allowance.
Right.
And from my father every Sunday morning. And so that was big in my life, at that time. Then I went to Paul Laurence Dunbar in the first grade, and then my father and my mother, they enrolled us into private school.
Oh, so you were in public school initially, and then they
Well,
put you
just for the first time. We just in the first grade.
first grade. Yeah.
The one I really remember was Principal Dade when I was in the first grade at St. Anthony. I mean at Paul Laurence Dunbar. Then we went to St. Anthony from the second on to the sixth. And I remember Miss German, our teacher, and Sister Clements. She would always have a ruler and would spank us on the hand when we get out of line. But I remember we, of course, had to learn our catechism in Catholic school.
Oh, you were Catholic?
Well, I'm Baptist, but I went to...
But you went to a Catholic private school?
Catholic private school. But I knew my catechism because we had it as part of our learning. And I can also remember, Vern, that when President Kennedy came to Dallas, the day that he was assassinated, of course, they would take the kids on field trips, and we went to downtown Dallas, the class, and were down there when the president's motorcade passed by.
You were there? You were down there?
We were downtown Dallas. And then when it was over, after the president had passed, of course, then the crowd would begin to break up. And we got in the car, of course, and getting ready to go back to school. And when we got down on Elm Street, all of the motorcycles, and I mean, we didn't know what had happened, but you know, it was so many motorcycles and police cars, but a lot of motorcycles, and so we knew something had happened. What it was, we did not know, and we were kids at that time, about 11 years old, I guess, maybe, and then found out when we got back to school that the president had been shot, and all of the black and white televisions then we were looking at.
So you were actually downtown when it happened, but you didn't know what happened.
Yeah, we were downtown. We waved at the president, and, you know, and all that, and we were happy kids. And the motorcade had passed, and when the motorcade had left, past us,
Right.
then of course we got into the cars, and they were bringing us back to school. We went down Elm Street under the same underpath, but did not know what had taken place. But visually, I completely remember all of the black and white motorcycles just coming from everywhere, just coming around that bend and going and stuff. So what had taken place at that time, we did not know. And when we got back to school, you know, then we found out that President Kennedy had been shot, and then of course began to follow the news where he got assassinated.
So you were about 10 years old then. So, I mean, you remember exactly where you were when it happened and everything.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah,
We
most
were
people do.
downtown.
Yeah.
We were downtown on Elm Street, and but we were at the upper end of Elm, and he was assassinated down on the lower part of Elm Street. Because Elm Street is a one-way, so we had to go that way to, of course, exit
Right.
downtown.
Did it have an impact on you when you realized what had happened? What kind of impact
Well,
did it
I
have
think
on
the assassination of President Kennedy had a major impact on me and my life because, you know, he was the president, somebody we all loved. When President Kennedy would come on television, we'd all
Right.
gather around the television and hear what the president had to say. At that time, it was a president with integrity, someone that you had to listen to and believed, unlike the presidents that we have in today's era. It's awful what's going on. Not with Biden,
Right.
but I'm saying, but the office itself.
Right, it's not the same. It was
Nowhere
back
close.
then. It was more respected. Now it's
Complete
it's
respect.
It's a
Hey,
game.
listen,
Yeah.
he was respected. Kennedy was respected. President Johnson was respected. President Reagan was respected. President Carter was respected. You know, they had a level of authority that we respected.
Right.
And then others, but you know, those folks, when they said something, we listened
Yeah.
and believed. And that's for both the Bushes. I mean, you know, President Bush, I like President Bush, the first one, and I like the second one. Okay? And of course I like Clinton and I like Barack, you know, and so I like Hillary. I mean, I like Biden. I pray for him every night. But I don't like what Trump stands for and his method of governing,
Right.
nor the people that continue to believe in him and follow him.
Right.
I think they're all sick.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how he's able to connect with people that are not even in his.
It's like Jim Jones. I don't know what in the hell kind of Kool-Aid these folks today are drinking. I mean, you clearly can see that Trump is a demon. He's whatever, demonized. he's whatever it is. We got a problem.
But you got, like I said, he connects with people that are poor, lower economic level, and they send money. He would raise $7 million out of that mugshot.
Well, that's $7 million now.
Right.
He gonna make millions.
Right.
And then it's not gonna get poor Giuliani none of it. You know, golly.
Anyway, when you get back to going back to your private
Childhood.
school, from after you went to private school, did you go to private school in high school as well?
No.
Just
Well,
elementary?
my father, when I say my father, my parents, okay, a decision was made that we needed to have a mixture, a true mixture of the culture. And so after I got to the 6th grade and finished the 6th grade at St. Anthony, I went to the 7th grade, and they said, hey, we're gonna give y'all a little taste of this public school, and so I went to Oliver Wendell Holmes, the public school, no longer in the uniforms and all that, no gray and blue with the tie. It's decent, going to public school, in which I went to Oliver Wendell Holmes, got heavily involved at Oliver Wendell Holmes.
You say heavily involved, like
in playing football, running track, playing tennis, and being politically active within.
Even then, right?
Politically active in student council and statistician for the basketball team, because I really couldn't play basketball. I wasn't never no good at basketball. Maybe I probably would have been if I'd tried, but I kept the books for. I'm probably the greatest statistician ever in the history of basketball in junior high and high school level. But so I was involved there at Oliver Wendell Holmes, and in leadership role, and just with the student body. I was always doing whatever, and I was just a nice kid. I only got whooped one time by Principal Mr. McWhirter.
He whipped you?
Yeah.
What do you mean he whipped you? What did he do?
Hit me with a board. Brought me in the office, had to beat me with a board on my butt. Well, I was in class, and this girl, she stabbed me on my arm with a pencil. With a lead, we had lead pencils.
Why'd she stab you?
I don't know, but
what were you trying to do?
I wasn't trying to do nothing with her. But whatever the difference that we had, I forgot really. But whatever it was, she stuck me with a pencil and the lead in my arm. And I did something I never will do ever again. I retaliated. And I don't feel good about that at all. I don't brag about it.
What happened? You retaliated in what way?
An immediate retaliation.
Struck her?
Kinda. But look, I'm in the 7th grade, okay? And I wasn't accustomed to that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it hurt. So yes, I do not brag about that. It's not something that and ever since then I've always been never put your hands on a woman, any kind, young lady, girl, whatever the case is, just let them make it,
Yeah,
but
you remember that.
So I remember it. I'll always forget. You remember it too. You get stuck in the arm with a pencil and the lead broke off in your arm. It calls for retaliation at that moment.
Right.
And not a moment that I'm proud about, but yes, goodness. They brought me in the office. They had to tap on me a little bit. So back then,
So they didn't give you the rattan, like we used to have the rattan, where you have to stick your hand out and they hit you with the switch on your hand. They didn't have that?
That was in Catholic school, if at all. But
no, when I was in junior high school and high school, that's what they had. Not high school, but junior high school. They had the rattan. Elementary school.
No, rattan. What's a rattan?
It's a little piece of bamboo, like I forget what it's made out of, but they used to stick it in vinegar.
Stick it in vinegar.
They'd have a bunch of them in vinegar. So they used to call it the stick. The stick. They call it the stick.
Here they'd hit you with the ruler.
Oh no, they hit you with the rattan.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about they hit your hand with the ruler.
So the rattan was the same thing. They hit your hand. That hurt even worse because the vinegar, and plus it was thin.
That must have been up in Boston somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure wasn't around here with no rattan.
The rattan.
We had the board.
I got the stick. That's what we used to call it.
We
had the board.
We had the board. You had the board of education. They give all the boards different names. Then my coaches in junior high, Coach Nathaniel Williams. Oh, we loved him, and Larry Williams, we loved him. Nathaniel Williams was our basketball coach, great coach. He's deceased now, of course. And then the track coach was Larry Williams. Oh man! And they all went. They went to Booker T, and were stars at Booker T, and Prairie View. And boy, Coach Williams would practice on you. You know, he aim you, get you teed up. You know, well, stick it up here a little bit. You know, and oh yeah, oh my goodness, yeah, hold it right there now. I mean, they
What's
they
he
made you
doing
remember,
now?
huh?
What's he doing?
He was teasing, getting ready to beat your butt with the board.
Oh, okay.
So he's telling you, all right, now hold it right there. Now, oh yeah, now hold it right. Okay, arch
He's
it
the
up a little
coach?
bit. Yeah. And then, bam! Oh my goodness! Oh, that wasn't
So
good
what
enough.
would he do that for? If you weren't playing well, or
Whatever you did to deserve to get your butt whooped, tapped on, they had it. And boy, let me
well,
tell
the
you
coaches
something.
were doing it too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How you think I'm such a good person today? I had discipline yesterday. Shoot,
You got it a lot then back then?
no, I didn't get a lot of that. Just when I was in the principal's office, I was a good kid.
Okay.
You know, I was a role model.
That was in junior high, right?
That was in junior high.
But you went to high school in Dallas as well?
Oh man, listen. When I went to high school, see, my brother went to Roosevelt, and my brother graduated in '67, and he was All-State, All-American football, and got drafted to Morgan State University up in Baltimore. Okay, he and Harold Bell and they went up there and Coach Earl Brown was in. I think Earl Brown was the coach up at Morgan State. Well, my brother never wanted me to be in the same school with him, but so he graduated from Roosevelt in '67, and then in '67 is when I came to Roosevelt.
So why didn't you want to be in school with him?
He's a bully.
So you're in school with him?
My brother's a bully. He loved me to death. That's my only brother. Loved me to death. He didn't want me with him. You know how two boys are growing up in the same house. You know, you got that little entanglement.
Had the separation. You have to have the
Yeah,
separation.
then he's a big time football player, you
Right.
know, and I'm his little brother. Well, he's airing out his laurels, whatever you want to call it.
So he graduated 3 years ahead of you?
Yes.
So when you went to Roosevelt, he was just leaving.
He was gone. He had
gone,
just
okay.
left. He left, I came.
Okay.
When I got there in the 10th grade, I went 10th, 11th, and 12th at Roosevelt because I went to 7th, 8th, and 9th at Olive Wonder Homes.
Right.
And so I got to Roosevelt, and again, a model student, fairly decent athlete.
You played sports?
I played football. I played split end, number 81 at Roosevelt.
Would you play
And-
what? Sit in.
Split end.
Oh, split end. Okay.
You talking about sit in?
I thought you were talking about other games
No.
that I
Anyway,
never heard of.
but I played split end at Roosevelt, and I also ran track at Roosevelt under Coach Ernest James, greatest track coach in the world, late, and played football for the greatest coach ever, high school coach Raymond E. Holly. Coach Raymond E. Holly. He was a head coach at one time for Booker T. Washington, one of the first black schools in Dallas.
Now, didn't you, jumping ahead a little bit, didn't you do a radio show with him?
Coach Holly?
Yeah, on the weekend, on K104 on Sundays.
Well, maybe I did. I can't really remember.
It's good.
But I did, on Sundays with the radios, with the coaches and all that stuff.
Okay.
But then I also was active with the basketball as a statistician for the basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was captain of the tennis team. I played tennis.
So you played tennis, football, ran track,
Mm-hmm.
but you were terrible in basketball. Why do you think that is?
I never applied myself to the game of basketball. I never. I don't know why.
Okay.
But I was the best statistician. I kept the records. I kept the books pretty good. Hell, I keep the books like hell.
Most valuable statistician.
I'm
huh?
the most valuable. I'm All-American. They gonna put me in the Hall of Fame for real. Arthur, they gonna put me in the Hall. They better put me in the Hall of Fame. I was a statistician. They jiving. We caught them too.
So was it high school or was it elementary school? You first, like you said, you were very involved in school activities in elementary school and in high school. When was that where you were influenced to work in civic issues like?
Well, we used to have to walk up to Morrell Street to school, and it was mud. We had to walk through the mud to get up the hill to get to school, and being involved and being active on in school activities, let's say it that way. I began to lead the charge to petition the city of Dallas to put sidewalks up Morrell. So the kids that they are walking up to school on some sidewalks that they have no idea of who was the one responsible of petitioning and dealing with the city and putting the sidewalks.
This is when you were in school?
Yeah. 10th, 11th grade, we had to have sidewalks, man. We get our shoes all muddy.
So you created the petition while you were in school?
Yeah. And they put the sidewalks there. The sidewalk. I've been involved a long time. There's so many stories I could talk about that I was involved with in changing things for the better of those coming behind us. But yes, so I was pretty active. And then from that, of course, I was president of the senior class in my senior year, and all those things. Pretty active in school and school activities.
You think that just came organically, or were you influenced by somebody that led you in that direction?
Well, the coaches, the coaches know the kids, and they had a lot of they put a lot of trust and effort into us back at that time. Man, I was driving the coaches' cars, man. I was driving the coaches' cars. I'm tired. I'm driving the Lincolns and the Tornadoes, Coach Henderson's Tornado, Coach James Lincoln.
With or without a license?
I didn't have no license. But I did eventually take student driving. But no, man.
It usually comes first. That's what I was asking.
Well, no. I mean, I could drive them. I mean, I'm not just driving. I'm not driving from Oak Cliff to North Dallas, all that kind of stuff. But where in and around, and we could borrow the cars and do a few things, and it was fun. And it's good that at that time that teachers and coaches had that type of relationship where we were good kids. We still did things, but we were good kids. In high school, I never even knew what marijuana really was. Okay, and and things began to evolve, but it wasn't all of what you see today. When I was growing up and I was at Roosevelt, I was not an A honor roll student, but I made A's and B's, and might have had a C, maybe. But I had good homeroom teachers, and everything was different back then.
So when you became in 11th grade, 12th grade, you started thinking about college. What were you thinking about then? Where did you want to go?
I received a scholarship to the University of Arizona, academic scholarship, and I flew. My brother first was in New York, Baltimore, and I recall the family, me, my mother, my daddy, we flying to New York because that's when Morgan State was playing Grambling at Yankee Stadium. Okay. And so we attended that game. That was a real most memorable trip because when we were in New York, I remember seeing at night the lights were just, bam. Oh man, the lights were so I never seen lights like that. I never seen Coca-Cola, with the big light up in New York like that. I remember we were in New York, and I forgot where we were going. Maybe we were going back to the hotel or something. But this car pulls up, And guess who gets out with a martini glass? Cary Grant. I mean, you know, but he wasn't paying attention to us, of course. But just the fact that we saw a movie star,
Right.
he's getting out the limousine with a martini glass, okay, going wherever they were going, okay. But we were there for the football game in New York, in which my brother played. We followed him. So that was a heck of a trip. We followed them when they played Grambling in Houston in the Astrodome. And I remember my brother and them lost, and they were getting on the elevator, and somebody said something to he and Harold Bell on the elevator. Well, when the door was open, and they, you know, quote unquote, they beat the man up, because I don't know what he said. Must have been heckling them or something. But you know, you don't mess with big old linemen, a big offensive tackle and an offensive guard, because my brother played offensive guard, and Harold Bell was the tackle.
So this other person, was it a white person, black person, was it
They
racial?
brought a black guy.
Okay.
You know, they were getting on, because they was pissed because they lost the game. So they didn't need no heckling. But I received a scholarship to the University of Arizona, backing up. And they were in New York, my parents, for something. And I flew out to Arizona for the freshman orientation. Well, I'm by myself now. I graduated from high school. I'm going out for freshman orientation.
Right.
My first time leaving away from home. I'm a young man now. I got to take everything that has been instilled into me and go get off the plane and have to go get a taxi cab and have to be responsible to get to Arizona University and have to go to check in and all of this stuff. I'm on my own.
All your own, yeah.
Yeah. So that night, I'm trying to associate with the folks. I didn't see black people, okay, and then when I finally saw some people of color, they were from the motherland. They were from Africa. The few that I did see.
Oh, okay.
So, but I only saw them, and I only saw white people. But and I'm trying to blend in, and so they're gonna have the social that night, the freshman orientation social. So, what was it for me to socialize with? You got to.
You didn't see any black folks at all?
I didn't know black people.
Except the Africans.
I just saw a few of them. Okay, so I'm with the young white folks. And man, let me tell you something. That's the first time I really was officially introduced to marijuana. And I'm telling you, they was rolling marijuana the size of the big fat cigars. I'm talking about they were rolling some. It wasn't no doobie, and it wasn't no little bitty like a cigarette. It was like a big fat cigar, fat ass cigar. And I mean, they had it going on. I mean, it's everywhere. So did I really take some puffs of it? I probably did, because I'm trying to bloom in, okay? And I didn't feel it.
You didn't get high?
Hell, I high enough to realize I wanted to get the hell out of Arizona. You can believe that, because I called my parents.
Why did you want to get out?
Because I didn't see no black people.
Okay.
I didn't see no black people. I didn't see nobody look like me
Right.
that looked like me, that I could associate with. And I called my parents up in New York. Well, first I called my girlfriend in Dallas. And she was in Oklahoma at the time. And I called her and said, look, I'm finna get away from here. I'm leaving. And she told me one thing. She said, well, because she wanted to be with me and I wanted to be close to her anyway, because we were high school sweethearts. And so Pat said, we call her Ann. And so Ann said, well, I'm going to call Aunt Missy. Because Aunt Missy, Pat, my girlfriend then, and which is one of my ex-wives now, she went to Langston University. She was up in Langston. her Aunt Missy was in Guthrie, Oklahoma. And Aunt Missy was one of the trustees or something at Langston.
Okay.
So Pat had her Annie to get me accepted up at Langston University overnight. Okay? Fill out the application. They said, you just come on to Oklahoma.
Now, you said you went in Arizona. You had a scholarship? Did you have a scholarship there? Just
Yes.
full scholarship?
A scholarship to Arizona, University of Arizona. I told my parents, I said, I'm not going here. Y'all got to pay for me to go to school. I'm not going here.
Langston didn't offer you anything but...
Well, no, I mean, you know, and then Langston, the HBCU,
Right.
you know, it was easier.
How did your parents feel about that?
They didn't have no choice. I wasn't going to Arizona.
Well, did they try to encourage you to
They
go?
didn't try to encourage me to do nothing. I wasn't going. Period.
They couldn't encourage you, but did they try to?
Whether they tried to or not, I was not going. I'd made up my mind I was not going out there. I'm not going. I wasn't going. I can't remember all why and what they said back then. I wasn't going. Plus, I was trying to get up there to Pat, up to Langston anyway. So they had it all arranged, and Aunt Missy had it all arranged. I was accepted. I had maybe student loans, whatever it was. They got me in there, and that's why I went to Langston.
So your parents never brought up the fact that now I got to pay for you to go to school, as opposed to...
My parents always believed in education and do whatever. If I hadn't had a scholarship, then what were they going to do? They're going to pay me to go to school somewhere. Okay? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like a full ride scholarship because I wasn't an athlete. I wasn't
a statistician.
Yeah. I kept the numbers on the
give
book.
a scholarship for that. Huh?
Yeah, no.
That's your math whiz.
But they give you a little help that you can recognize as a scholarship. But I wasn't playing football.
Right.
None of that kind of stuff. It was academic, and I was president of the senior class, so I was pretty up in the it was 270 in my class. I forgot what number I ranged in, but enough to be able to be accepted and get a little financial help that they would label as scholarship. But I called my parents and got them in New York, so I'm finna get on a plane. I ain't coming here. And then I had worked it out to
So
go
you didn't
to
get any
Langston.
pushback at all? They just let you
No, I
go?
didn't get a push. No, I didn't get. Only thing I got pushed on is get a bus ticket and get to Langston.
So you went to Langston, and got in there?
Got on the Greyhound bus. The Greyhound was still running then.
From Arizona?
No.
You went home?
I flew. I flew to Arizona and flew back home to Dallas.
Right.
No.
Then you got on the bus.
To go to Langston. They ain't got no airport out there. Shit. I got on no. I did fly to Oklahoma City and then had to get a bus, to go to Langston. Mm-hmm. So here we go. We're going to Langston. Well, Langston is about 40 miles from Oklahoma City. So we get to Guthrie, and that's where Aunt Missy and her steakhouse restaurant was. And that's my girlfriend's, then my aunt's Annie. She ran Guthrie, and she was a lady of stature in Guthrie. She had the steakhouse where the white folks would come to her steakhouse. That was Aunt Missy. That's how well known Aunt Missy was. Mm-hmm. Okay, and Ann is her niece, and Aunt Missy runs Langston as well. Okay, I has a strong voice at Langston, and they called Dr. Holloway. I remember that, and got me accepted at Langston. But the thing about it, on that bus ride, I know where the hell I was going, man, and got off of I-40. And turn on this long road, 11 miles to Langston. There wasn't nothing out there. Nothing out there. But some cows and rural land. No houses, no nothing. Going down this road all the way to Langston. And when we finally arrived, you could see little Langston University, red bricks buildings. Langston University. Well, got off the bus. Now I'm at Langston. damn sure couldn't go nowhere else because 11 miles down the dark road, I couldn't walk. Didn't want to leave because, I mean, you know, Ann is there, Patricia Ann. And so that's how my life started at Langston. Met a lot of friends, got in the dormitory, had a roommate from Chicago, and we called him Chicago. A little bitty skinny thing, man. He probably didn't weigh but 80 pounds, wet. And so Chicago was my roommate.
Did you stay there? Did you graduate? Did you go somewhere else?
No. We had fun at Langston. Myself and Ricky Hornbeak. Ricky, high yellow with that one over there, you know, just like him, but it had a fro, just like Troy over there, but Ricky's afro would sit on both his shoulders. You know how Troy, how your hair is, but Ricky's hair was curly. He was different in the texture of you all's hair.
I think I met him.
Yeah, well, Ricky Hornby, he was my best friend, and he had a fro this big, and he had to comb his hair with a cake cutter, you know, because he had, you know, that hair, and you know he could do everything with his hair. And back then, when you had a fro, you had to have a fro if you were gonna have a woman, all right, because that's when the fros was in, and so you had people with little fros, and you had medium fros, but Ricky's fro stood out, just like Angela Davis's fro, for example. But Ricky had that good white folk mixture, Indian kind of hair, okay? And then he was high yellow. But he and then my other friend from Beaumont, we were both from Texas, Tommy Sprout, of the Sprout family out of Beaumont, and 4th Avenue in Washington in Beaumont. And the Sprout family, very, very rich family. And the family owned Sprouts Hospital, and which was right across the street from their house in Beaumont, the whole hospital. So it's a hospital full of doctors, okay, in that family. But at Langston, Hollywood Henderson and I were there. Charlie Wilson was there. Carl Gaines was there.
So you went to school with these guys, huh?
Yeah, all of us. We were all at Langston all the time, at the same time. And there were others that were there. I just named a couple of those guys that folks can really recognize their names. But it was very interesting.
Did you stay at Langston, or did you transfer? Or did you...
Well, myself and Ricky and Tommy, we did a lot of running around at Langston. They were Kappas. I had not pledged at the time, and so they were fraternal, and but we were all, however we glued ourselves together, we were friends. Okay, we had jumpsuits made at that time. We did things together. I never will forget, because remember the jumpsuits, not out of this material, but kind of elastic, like, I guess, that kind of material, where this side was light brown and this side was dark brown, and this leg was dark brown and this leg was light brown, and you know, we were kind of like the playboys on the campus. And of course, my hair I had big fro, but mine was not textured like theirs was.
Right.
But Tommy was rich from the family. His family bought him a brand new orange and black Charger, brand spanking new. Okay, and we took that Charger. I never will forget. We went to the football games. We would go together to the football games, the three of us, and Tommy would be driving, and we decided to go to Kentucky State football game when Langston played. We left Langston over in the morning and driving, you know, all the way to Kentucky. Stopped in Memphis, Tennessee, on Beale Street, and I'm gonna get my hair done. You know, gonna get it, you know, all fixed up, because we changed it in Memphis. And so they had this. We're walking down Memphis, I'll never forget because I look in the window and here's a sign. That's when we were blowing our hair out, you know. And remember, their hair was the white folks kind of hair, and I'm trying to kind of keep up with the Joneses, go get my hair all blowed out and everything.
You didn't get a hot comb in it, did you?
Huh?
You didn't put a hot comb in it, did you?
What?
Hot comb.
No, I didn't have no hot comb. I didn't need no hot comb. I had good hair. I had good hair. I still got good hair today. Look at that. I got good hair. Here's the deal, though. There's a sign in the window. Said permanent blow. You know, you can blow out your hair, you know. Say permanent blow, $2. Ooh, I got to have this. Y'all, I got to have it. We finna go to Kentucky State. We chasing women, you know. We straight up hoes, all right. We chasing women, and so I go in there, and as big as my fro was, they put some white cream in my hair, and then they took a little bitty baby comb, cause see, my mother's a beautician, okay. So I grew up in the beard shop, so I need to make sure we know that. My daddy worked at Brook Hall Country Club. They put this white stuff in my hair. Oh, it was looking good. Took a little bitty comb. They take no big comb. Took a little bitty comb, start combing through my hair. Oh, I know I'm finna look good. He taking this little bitty comb, combing through my hair like this. He's combing through my hair with this little bitty comb. All this hair I got, he combed with a little bitty comb. I know I'm finna look good. I'm finna look better than these dudes right here. Man, let me tell you something. They washed that stuff out of my head, because my head started kind of burning a little bit. When I got out of that chair, Vern, let me tell you something. Every hair, with emphasis on every hair, stood at attention. This was going this way, this was going this way, this one this way, this one this one, this one's up, this one's up, this one's up, this one's up. Every hair on my head was standing out like I just stuck my hand in some electricity.
Had the buckwheat factor going, huh?
Doctor, every hair I had was standing out. And it was standing out so when I would go outside, the wind would blow, my hair would split and go and split and go and split and go.
That's the way you wanted it?
No, hell no, that ain't the way I wanted it. Hell, that white stuff they put in my hair, I didn't know that was some kind of lie or something. They said it was a permanent blow, and it was permanent too, for $2. I don't know why the hell I decided I'm gonna get a permanent blow, but it was permanent. I couldn't wash that shit out of my hair. I used Tide. I used everything in my hair trying to get my hair back.
Right.
I was so embarrassed because I'm at the game and my hair just sticking out. I'm just looking like a porcupine. I mean, every hair on your head just sticking out. Wait a minute, you got to look at if every hair on your head is standing out, won't go down
Straight.
now, won't go this way, won't go this way. It's standing
Like
out.
a porcupine. Like.
Yes, sir. Every hair on my head was sticking out. And I got back to Langston. I did everything trying to get, and that's the first time that ever in my life, the only way I could get rid of it was to cut all my hair off. All my hair off.
What did you say to the barber?
What could I say? Shit, it was a barber college. I didn't realize it was a damn barber college.
She didn't say college, but
I'm just telling you, that's the punchline. That's why it was a $2 permanent blow. It was a damn barber college I walked into. I thought I was walking into a professional barber shop. A barber college, people practicing. And they practice.
Yeah, they used you as a dummy, I guess.
Well, I was a dummy.
But you didn't say anything to him? What did you say?
What the hell could I say to him?
That's not a blow.
Look here, I was happy to get out of there. What can I do? I didn't say, we traveling. It's time to go. We're trying to get to Kentucky. Yeah.
So when you got back to school,
I tried to wash that shit out of my head. I tried to stop this cursing. I tried to wash it out of my head. I did everything I could. The only thing I could do, cut it all the way down, and then but you had to cut it off to the roots so the new roots could grow and get my hair back. Okay. That's the only way I get that mess out of my head. I was so embarrassed for a long time.
I mean, anyway, you were back in school, and
so now we're back in school. Yeah, well, and so I'm back, and we doing what we do, and we decided that we wanted to go home.
Dallas, back to Dallas?
back to Texas.
Just Texas.
Then leave Oklahoma.
Why?
Cause we just want to go. We want to leave Oklahoma.
You must have a reason. Why'd you want to leave Langston?
Man, back then we didn't take no reasons. We wanted to leave. I left Arizona. Now it's time for me to leave
Yeah,
Langston.
but you left Arizona because
going-
there's no black folks
yeah,
there. Why'd you leave Langston? Your girlfriend was there.
Well, I mean, that was just one of them things. There's more girls where you going to. you
Oh,
know?
okay.
We went to, we're going to enroll in Texas Southern University.
So you went to TSU from Langston?
Yeah, that's where I pledged Kappa. Spring '72.
And why did you, just because you wanted to go back to Texas, that was it?
We wanted to go home. We were tired of Oklahoma. Me, Tommy, and Ricky was following. And we got to Texas. We got accepted at Texas Southern University.
Well, how did your girlfriend feel about that?
Well, it wasn't too much feeling you could do at that particular point, Vern. I mean, I
know
I
that.
love
What
her to
did
this
you-
very
did
day.
you-
I hate her left, but it's one of them things. I wanted to come home to Texas.
So you told her that, and what was her reaction?
I forgot.
You forget.
I forgot.
You remember her,
Like I sure do.
but you did tell her you were leaving.
Yeah, I'm going home to Texas. I'm going to Texas Southern. I'm leaving.
And you don't remember her reaction to that.
Well, I mean, it wasn't no cussing because she ain't no cusser.
Bye. Just bye.
Oh, well, I'm finna go. I'm here to Texas. I'm going home.
So why did you choose Texas Southern? There was other
Well, because
schools
we
you
were
went
in
to.
Texas. Well, probably, Vern, because when Texas Southern, I think they may have come to Langston to play Langston. And then when you see other schools, and remember we traveled to Kentucky to go to Kentucky State to see, and you see the HBCUs, the larger ones and more popular ones, and those in cities. And remember, we're out here in the country. We're out here in no man's land, okay? I'm going to the city.
So
Remember, I came from
what
the
year
city.
were you in? Were you a sophomore or junior when you went?
When I got to,
You
when I
did
got
2
to,
years at Langston.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so came to Texas, and went to Texas Southern University, and got involved. Of course, remember my two running buddies, Tommy Sprout and Ricky, they're Kappas. So it's time for me to pledge Kappa. So I pledged Kappa.
What was that
I was
experience
Kappa.
like?
Oh man, probably I want to say the best, next to the second best thing that I accomplished, that I chose to do. One I didn't choose to do, but I chose to pledge Kappa. That made a man out of me.
How so?
Made me smart. Developed me to have patience, understanding, more of how to be a man, how to take endurance, and how to deal with issues and spirit of moment decisions that have to be made, and the indecisiveness and being on point, and it just everything that I had gone through, every road I had traveled, led me to Kappa, and Kappa just put it in the mold for me. Okay, how to respect, how to be respected, how to think, how to be on your feet, how to not necessarily take no for an answer, how to look beyond where you are.
But prior to you going to Kappa, did you ever think about joining Kappa before that? Or-
Well, up at Langston, but I guess had I pledged Kappa, had I pledged at Langston, it would have been Kappa. Okay, it was ever no doubt, because we are the type of fraternity that we know how to connect, and you can tell an alpha, you can tell a sigma, you can tell an omega, and you can tell a kappa. Okay, it's like, what would you pledge, and what would Troy pledge, and what others would pledge? Because everybody can't be no kappa.
Right.
Everybody's not kappa material. You got to have some endurance. You got to have a commitment. You got to have the heart you got to have it to be a
So
Kappa.
you're saying the other fraternities don't have that?
Well, no, I'm not gonna put the other fraternities down because in my opinion, you have the Kappas, and you got equal somewhat to the Kappas, but you got the Omegas. I have a lot of respect for all fraternities, but you got the Omegas, and the Omegas, you got to be a man. You got to be a dog. You know, you got to be tough. But up here with the Kappas, there's a little bit more respectful, you know, and in that sense, one sense of the word, you know, and then you know you have the alphas, in which the alphas are the little smart people, you know, and folks they put on a little bow tie, they know how to work the numbers, you know, the alphas are the little smart people.
Nerds?
Well, I don't want to really call him a nerd, but like I told you, my roommate at Langston, he was from Chicago. He's an alpha, and so he's a nerd, but he's all right. You know, he's a friend of mine. But at the end of the day, kind of like that. And again, I don't want to degrade them, but yeah, they some nerds. But then you have some great alphas. Okay, you do have some well-known and great alphas, and then you have the sigmas. Well, the sigmas then at Langston and at Texas Southern, they you know, people that want to just join a fraternity, to be in a fraternity, well, kind of sigmas for you. You know, you're a sigma person. And sigma's not bad, but they are not like a Kappa, they're not like the Omegas, and they, you know, they're just where they are.
So being a Kappa helped you go
It
going to
turned
school
me.
and after school.
Listen, let me tell you something. It taught me. I mean, it taught me if you know the things that's unrevealable, but if you know some of the things that pledging did to me and for me, it is nothing that I'm afraid of
So when you
in the world.
So you were, how long were you at TSU? 2 years?
I left TSU in 74, 75, and came to the radio station. But I came to the Pizza Inn first. And,
Okay, but when you graduated as a Kappa.
Yeah, but here's the deal. My parents came because I was managing apartments while I was there.
In Houston?
In Houston, yes. I was managing
How'd you get that
2,000 units.
job?
Well, let me just tell you. I went to class from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. Then I had an hour and a half to go to the pit to do what we do at the Kappas, because we're real well known. I'm well known Kappa. But then I had to go to work. And my job was managing apartments. I was one of the area managers.
How'd you get that job?
Well, I applied for it, went and got it.
I mean, you as a manager from right out of college to manage apartments?
Didn't I tell you yes to answer your question? So I was managing apartments.
But what I'm asking you,
Wait a minute, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. Let's slow down. Perry Management. You remember Perry Management? You ever heard of Perry Management?
No.
They own all the apartments all over South Dallas, everywhere. Perry Management had a lockdown on all apartments. Well, Perry Management also had apartments like that in Houston. It was like a little town on the end of South Park Boulevard, and it was like a village. Okay, that's why they call it South Park Village. Okay, and in South Park Village, as an area manager, the area in South Park Village that I managed had 2,001 units. Then you had the other area, and you had the other area, and you had the other area, and all of the different areas were all looked different. Okay, it wasn't like the projects.
Right.
There's apartments. All right. But here's the deal. People wouldn't pay the rent, and you didn't pay your rent. Folks owed more in late charges than they did in rent back then, and so it was a little dangerous in managing apartments because the manager, our manager of the area managers, his name was Richard Hinton, and Richard Hinton would have a big. That's the first time I was introduced to a 357. Okay, because there you're dealing with people that wouldn't pay their rent, and Richard Hinton, being the manager, he believed in you paying your rent. Okay, so as area managers, we'd go and deal with all those different things. And hey, I'd go to work at 1:30 and get off at 6 in the evening. I had a liquor man, I had a meat man, I had a furniture man, and I had a suit man. Well, those were my friends. Okay, so I was kind of easy with them who lived there because I had all the liquor I wanted, had all the meat I wanted, had all of the furniture I needed, had all the suits I needed. Okay?
So you let it slide on the rent.
Just slid right on in. You know, it's too late. Can't nothing happen.
But I still don't know how you be in college and get a job managing.
You got to have it. I was working just from 1:30 to 6 o'clock. I went to school 8 to 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12.
No, I'm saying
and go to work,
managing,
get out, and weekends off.
Right, I understand, but
$800 a month.
but I'm
in
saying
college.
Generally, you get a job at apartments is not right to the manager's position. That's what I'm saying. From college to the management, how did you do that? That's an achievement.
Look at who you're talking to. Everywhere I've been on top. I've been president of senior class. I've been captain of my line, blood, sweat, and tears of when I pledged Kappa, captain of the tennis team, the best statistician, football. I've always shot for the sky.
So, but how did you get the job?
I went and applied for the job. Shit.
You didn't know anybody there?
I didn't have to know nobody. I knew I needed a job.
You just applied for the job and they gave it to you.
Hey, yes. Let me stop being so emotional. Yes, the same as when I came home. My mother got sick. Mm-hmm. She had to go to the hospital and do surgery. When my girlfriend came down there to Houston, there was a little altercation. My ex-wife girlfriend at the time. There was a little altercation.
Altercation?
At the apartments. Because you had to pay your rent, but you had to empty your trash with a pistol. Because, remember I told you about 357 and Richard Hinton? When somebody was behind on their rent and refused to pay their rent, and we were going to evict them, and they didn't want to go, you tell Richard Hinton, hey, Mr. Hinton, man over at 1102, he ain't gonna open the door. He said that he ain't gonna. Mr. Hinton said, well, let's go. Knock on the door, man open the door. Mrs. Hinton got 357 looking right at me, time for you to go. Shit, Hinton didn't play. So that's the kind of people that were there. One thing that's notable about that in the manager's job, when some people got so far behind on their rent and would not pay and would not do nothing, well, we would go, and Mr. Hinton would go, and we would take the front door off the door. In the winter, in the summer, whenever it was, you come to the office and get your dough when you pay your rent. Did you hear what I just told you?
I heard you.
Take the hinges off the front door, bring the front door to the office. You want your front door, you got to pay your rent. That's the kind of situation South Park Village used to be. I don't know how it is today. Okay, so it was kind of like gunslinger a little bit, and it was some kind of little altercation or something, whatever it was.
You don't remember what it was about?
But my girlfriend, she came back and told my mother. My mother worried the hell out of my daddy and my brother. And on a Monday, I never forget, on a Monday, I was not expecting visitors at my apartment. When I get to my apartment, coming from school, I arrived at my apartment. My parents were there with my brother.
Now, your apartment was within the village?
Yeah, you had to live had to live there. And I was living there for free. Where's you going to do? I didn't have to pay no dormitory fee, and I didn't have to pay none of that kind of stuff. I'm living there for free.
Right.
I'm the manager.
And you're working, right?
Yeah.
You're the manager.
I'm the manager. Area manager. I'm the manager. But my parents came because Ann came back and told my mama, how dangerous it was down there for me. And they came down there and said, you got to go. You leaving. I'm not going nowhere. Well, what you mean? I ain't finna go nowhere. No, you leaving. It's too dangerous down there. My daddy. You wearing your mama to death, man. You know, my brother with his old wimp self. He oh my goodness. And he putting it all on. They got my mama all worked up and everything. And told me I got to come home. And I got to leave. It's too dangerous here for you. So remember, my parents always been hands-on. And I had to do what my parents say, pretty much. So that night, while they were in town, we went out to my aunt's house, her apartment, and my aunt and my cousin, my mother's baby sister, they were living in Houston off of Tidwell. And we went over there, and my mama's real good at this. My mama should be in Hollywood. Oh, my mama. Oh, you got to come on home. You got to come home. And then she passed out on the floor. She really put it in there. Me and my mama like this. I knew wasn't nothing wrong with my mama.
But you said it's an act, huh?
Doctor, nothing but an act. But everybody, you just wearing your mama to death. You wearing your mama to death. Yada 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 yada. You got to come home. My mama laying on the floor. You got to come home. You just wearing me to death. Oh, the whole show. So I ended up coming home. And when I left and came home, 2 weeks later, because I had to resign, I had to do all the stuff I had to do and pack and all that. And Ricky was my roommate, and I had to leave him there with some furniture and stuff and all that. I had a car. I had a red and white Le Mans, Pontiac Le Mans, with pillows in the back, and didn't have a sunroof top, but I had pillows in the back and had my antennas for my CB radio and all that stuff. I got on the highway with a trailer putting my stuff home, and parked my trailer in the house in the yard with all my furniture in it that I bought, and put it at my mama's house. And I was in there at my mother's house because my brother had promised me a job. He said, well, when you come, because he was managing some Levine stores. I'm gonna get you a manager's job at Levine's. I'm gonna get you a manager's job at Levine's. Okay, so I'm gonna transition, come home, get a manager's job at Levine's. Because I've always been independent since I left home at 18. Always. Never, ever came back to ever spend a night. And so when I got there, I was there for 2 weeks, never got the job at Levine's.
You didn't get the job.
Never worked, not one day at Levine's. So that didn't pan out the way that my brother
What
said.
happened?
I don't know.
Did you actually go Texas Southern? You left before you graduated.
Yes,
Did you graduate?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yes, so I left and I'm gonna get this job at Levine's that my brother promised. Never got the job. 2 weeks after I was there, my mama say, "You're just a bum." That hurt me so. Hey, wait a minute, I'm gonna say I couldn't cuss her out. I said, wait a minute, hell, I had all my shit together down here. I'm making $800 a month. Don't have no notes on nothing. Got a car paid for. I ain't got no rent to have to worry about. Got a liquor man, suit man, meat man, and furniture man, and it's having fun and doing everything I'm doing. Mm-hmm. It's too dangerous down there for you. My mama, 2 weeks after I was there, my mama say, "Boy, you just a bum." What? So, me being independent, if I'm gonna be here, I want to manage apartments. So I was managing apartments for Perry Management, but the only jobs that Perry Management had was managing and yet live on site was over there in South Dallas. I mean, I'm talking about in the tough part of South Dallas. So I start with I say my mother say, "You're a bum."
You're a bum, yeah.
I said, "Wait a minute, now y'all done come down here and got me out of my situation." And I've always, that's the worst thing to do is to say I'm a bum. And y'all come here and got me and didn't give me no dang job. And my brother ain't did what he said and all this stuff. And I'm up here trying to go to work and find somewhere to work because I wanted to stay in apartment management with period management, but on the jobs that they had and opportunities.
You don't want to be
over
there.
Well, no, over in the real hood where I went from.
Was it worse than the Houston area?
Oh, awful! I didn't want to lay my head there.
Oh, it's that bad.
Oh yeah, shoot. You know, no, I wasn't finna be into that, so I wasn't taking that job. So I got on the freeway and I was driving down the freeway, and I saw the sign said, "Pizza Inn, headquarters." So I pulled over and went there because at one point when I was in Houston, I did have a little job working at the Pizza Inn. Okay, I was making pizza. Maybe first year I was down in Houston or somewhere. It was a short-term deal. Anyway, so I stopped at the Pizza Inn, and I went up to about the 11th floor at Pizza Inn, and I walked in at Pizza Inn, and may we help you? I said, I would like to have an application for a manager's job. Oh, they looked at me. They come in here talking about we won't be a manager. You know, because most people come, they just want a job, you know, cashier or something. I want a manager's job. I always wanted something on top. Remember, I pledged capital, so I wanted something from the top, okay? So well, they say, well, sir, we don't have a manager's position open right now, but we do have an assistant manager's job open, and you might, you might elevate to the manager's job there. I said, I'll take it. Where is it? It says on Lancaster in Oak Cliff. Well, hell, that's 5 minutes from where I live. You know, that's my hood. I took the job as assistant manager at Pizza Inn.
Let me ask one thing. So when you left Langston, did you end up graduating from Langston? I'm not Langston, I'm talking about Texas Southern.
No, I left.
So you never went back?
No.
Okay. So now you're at Pizza Inn.
Now I'm at Pizza Inn.
Assistant manager.
Assistant manager.
Okay.
And then about 40 days later, I was the manager.
How did you do that?
I don't ask me how I did it, Vern.
You sure you weren't a snake?
A snake?
You sure you didn't snake somebody?
No, I didn't snake nobody.
Snitch on anybody?
No. I was the manager. The man, managers, I guess, turnover was pretty high. So, but here's the deal. I fixed pizza so well, they called me the Black Italian. Man, let me tell you, I fixed pizza so well.
I thought they just had one formula for Pizza Inn. You created your own, huh?
No, again, the pregnant women I fixed with pizza so good, the pregnant women would come in, and I would promise them, you eat this pizza, you're gonna have that baby by next week. The word got around, pregnant women was coming off, and they're like 40 going off. I was fixing pizza. Don't ask me what it was. So they called me the Black Italian. And it was right next door to Payless, was right next door to us, so Payless shoe store. I'm in a hood community. I have never ever left the area in which I lived. Never. Okay? And so 5 minutes from where I grew up. Mm-hmm. Okay? Driving 5 minutes. But I was at the Pizza Inn. Then on a Friday night.
How long were you there?
I forgot. Maybe a year and a half, maybe. Because my ex-girlfriend came in. Barbara came in. I'd been already...
Barbara, you mean? Well,
yeah, Barbara, who I'm married to right now. She came in at night. We had kind of dated a little bit in Houston one night or something. And I remembered her, and then I get a phone call on a busy Friday night. Phone ring. I answer the phone. I don't know how this man found me or what he saw or why he even called, but it was Chuck Smith. He called me at the Pizza Inn on a busy Friday night. Most mysterious call I'd ever gotten. And we started talking. It was Chuck Smith from KKDA. K104 hadn't been born yet, but it was in his cards, I guess, to deal with it. And we were talking, and we must have talked for a couple of hours. How did he find me? How did he know anything about me?
Did you ask him?
Yeah, not really, because again, while I was at TSU, I was doing some sports at TSU on the radio, on KTSU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's how, so I did so many things. I did so much, I forgot all the things I've been involved with. But yes, I worked at KTSU, and I was doing sports. And guess how many minutes I had? I had 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, God.
I mean, I had to deal with everything to fill up.
How many listeners did you have? 3?
I don't know, maybe 2. Wait a minute.
20 minutes sportscast.
Man, I had to read everything. I mean, when I talked about the football, the college football, baseball, the basketball, soccer, all this kind of stuff. And I had to go down the line, man, talking about stuff I didn't know nothing about. I didn't know nothing about all this stuff, trying to fill up them 20 minutes, long 20 minutes ever. Shit. But anyway, so, back then, equipment, it was nothing like we had at K104, and all of that. KTSU wasn't like that.
Right.
We didn't have that kind of stuff. So, but I turned his phone on. Emmanuel said he's on. Is the door unlocked out there? He said he was on his way.
Did he, when he called you, let's say he talked for 2 hours and didn't really say what he wanted, did he? Well,
no.
he just
He just said, hey, well, I'd like for you to come out, and I'd like to meet you. I'd like to see you. I'd like to have a talk with you. I said, when? I mean, I'm enthused. I mean, it's like, here's a man from KKDA didn't call me.
Right.
I'm manager at Pizza Inn on a busy Friday night. I'm supposed to be out there trying to sell pizza and make sure these folks is doing the right thing, On a Friday night, people standing out the door with no pizza. Okay? So, but anyway, so I go out to the radio station the next morning at 11 o'clock. And I promise you, I didn't leave there until maybe 2:30 or 3 o'clock. Chuck Smith and I were in the room. We were talking, and just like we're talking now.
Yeah.
And we going back and forth. You know how Chuck is. He say all his scenarios and all of that, and it was very good. And he hired me. Why? I didn't understand it. So now I got 2 jobs.
You know what probably happened? He probably came into Pizza Inn one day.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's how he'd find people.
Well, I don't know. But whatever it is, the man called me out the blue. And so I'm out there in the old building in Grand Prairie, and in his little junky office, and 2-3 hours we talking.
Well, did he hire you to do sports?
He hired me, yeah, but they just hired me, shit. No, the hell I was gonna be doing. He didn't hire me as no DJ. I know, that wasn't a specific that.
Right.
And but and when we come on out, and so of course I started. That's when Arthur King Coleman and Johnny Hughes and Lisa Hembry and all that gang was there. We were all over in the radio station. Then of course eventually Willis came. Ross had been out there once before, and Rufus was in sales, and that's how that all turned about. Then, of course, when we went downtown to the radio station with K104, we went on the air at 12 o'clock high noon.
Yeah, that
with Earth, Wind and Fire.
In an old building. that they had bought from. They didn't buy the building, but he bought the station, and the station was in that building. So we thought we were going to be in there forever.
Yeah, well, you know, it was a paradise compared to
Right.
being out in the country. But you know, then that day we went on the air at 12 o'clock with Earth, Wind and Fire, sing a song,
Yep.
and them people in the white dentist's office, doctor's office, that when they had the music, you know, going through all of the
old
buildings
format,
and
yeah, that
the
they
old
had
format
when we
that they had. Boy, when K104 came on, they start calling that radio station. What did y'all DJs have to drink last night? Goddamn, because we flipped it with Earth, Wind and Fire, from easy listening,
Elevator music, they used to
elevator
call it,
music,
yeah.
all that. And here we come with sing a song with Earth, Wind and Fire. But at the end of the day, that relationship began to grow and mold, and paycheck was decent, you know, and of course you was a millionaire, you was making all the money. Yeah, you was.
There's a
Stop
light-skinned
lying.
guy in the other AM that was making all the money.
What?
That little light-skinned guy in the AM was making all the money.
Tom Joyner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tom was making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Hitting down in the hole off in there at KKDA.
Well, we thought he was making a lot of money. You know, actually back then he was making $30,000. That was a lot of money back
That was
then.
a lot of money back
Yeah.
in the 70s.
I'm sure he's made more than that since.
Well, I mean, you know, Dwaine and all of them. Dwaine Double D, Dwaine Dancer. You know, and folks was doing pretty good, you know, and then plus all the other things that you could do to appearances and stuff like that.
But you basically took up Monday when FM went on. You took over the sports, didn't you?
Yeah, I took over the sports on FM,
Yeah.
and you were the DJ, and I'm working on the opposite side of the glass of you. I'm very long-winded, like I'm long-winded right now with this interview, and so nothing has changed, not that much. But at the end of the day, I come in and you say, you know, hey, you gotta be sure of my time. I say, I'm long, you know, and I'm trying to stretch stuff in, and we kicked it up.
Well, occasionally, sometimes you'd say, "I'll be real short today."
Well, you know, it was
Every now- every once in a-
that might be because I had somewhere to go
Yeah.
or something to do, you know. But,
Every 6 months or so, you'd come in and "I'm gonna be short today."
yeah, but you know, that was a fun experience. I remember at times when we were out there in that old raggedy KKDA, and you could turn around and we did the news, pull the news off the AP machine,
Yeah.
Associated Press, and they had that to read. You know, we just reading straight off the AP press machine. You know, and you could turn around one way and turn back to the microphone. And there was a time when a scorpion was sitting right at the tip of the microphone for some folks out there. So we done had every kind of, we've been in every kind of condition that's unbelievable.
So
But-
when you were at the 104 and you started doing sports, and then you started doing a lot of promotions and things and out in the community, did that have kind of what catapulted you into wanting to go in the more community work and
Well, yeah.
as a city councilor?
You know, and here's the deal. You know, there are some names I can call that I had associations with that I put microphones in their face that are in the pros today. Harvey Martin, Dallas Cowboys, late Harvey Martin. One that I'm proud to always claim and talk about is Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman went to South Oak Cliff. I'm the first one to ever put a microphone in front of that man's face. I would say boy. He was a boy at the
back
time,
then, yeah.
But Dennis Rodman, and to interview him, and I'm still, I want to see him at some point today in today's life. I hadn't seen him.
He played basketball at South Oak Cliff?
He was born at South Oak Cliff. But what I'm proud of is that at K104 had not been for them to have the opportunity to learn how to talk, you know, to the press and, you know, really do an interview. They were just in high school. We were the first ones to have a live radio broadcast with them because I had a little black box. And then I had Louis White, and I've always been creative. So, you know, how we're going to be and cover all the sports everywhere. My thing has always been everything. So, you know, I created this way of we're going to go. Now we're going to go over to the Lowe's Field House with Louis White, where Roosevelt is playing Lincoln. Louis, and then he could jump in and take his, and then we threw it back, and we went to the next stage. That was really amazing what we did, and I say we, back then at the radio station. And so then venturing off into promotions, Chuck and I, we were just like this. He was like my daddy. I mean, he would lecture me and bring me in and talk to me. I'd be so ready to get out of his office, but he would talk to me and talk and talk and talk and find different topics to talk about. In fact, that's where I got mine from, was from Chuck. But here's the deal.
You got what from Chuck?
Talking.
I don't know if you got that from Chuck or not.
Yeah, I got all that from Chuck.
But the thing about it, he was a very, as far as I'm concerned, I think you agree, he's very influential. He really had influence on you. He's very smart.
Hey, see, how long did you stay in his office when you'd go talk to him?
Sometimes 2 hours, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. It was always a long conversation.
Always a long conversation.
Yeah.
So we got to talking about some things, and what caught his ear, because Chuck loved basketball. He loved sports, but he loved basketball.
Right.
And you know, and he loved track. And so I was talking about the old times. I was talking about Ed James and how they would run at Madison, and Belinda and Bo Johnson at Booker T, and all this and all that. And he said, well, why don't you just do a track meet, you know, we'll just see what you can do. Okay, fine. That kicked it off for me. And then I put my own creativity on it, and Chuck would sit back and laugh. I say, because now we're going to do the K104 open track and field meet, okay? It's going to be at Sprague Stadium. Well, you know, they're expecting, you know, 2,000 people maybe, if that, 5, you know, just do a little promotion and all that. Boy, I had that thing so fired up, you know, it was fired up. Hell, we had 10,000 people out there. You couldn't even get in there. They on both sides of the field, on the stadium was filled. I put a carrot out there. I put a hook out there. I said, okay, we're gonna do a fat man's 40. He got to weigh 250 pounds plus in order to be able to enter the fat man's 40. Okay, so of course we put that all into the promotion. You know, we're gonna do the fat man's 40. And I said, okay, now this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do, because this is my creative promotion of mine. I say, now what we're gonna do now? We're gonna do the 100-yard bikini strut. Okay, so we're gonna get the ladies out there. They're gonna put the bikinis on, and they're gonna strut for 100 yards. 100-yard bikini strut. So that's how we got all them people out there. You had the Fat Man's 40. You had all of the old people running that was well known, Belinda and Bo Johnson, all the people running, and paramedics and everything ready to get them, because they were the has-been people and the back then people, and the bikini strut. And we had the people out there. Then, of course, when the Commodores came out, I said, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go get the band shell, and we're going to do the Miss Brickhouse contest. You know, we're going to do Miss Brickhouse. And so, of course, the band shell's full. We're promoting on the radio, the Brickhouse contest, band shell. We got all the okay, it's time for the bikini strut. That's with that picture on my wall in there, where I had the cowboy hat on. That was in 1976. And when we did the bikini strut. Okay, so I mean the Miss Brickhouse contest, and Cynthia Black and was in the contest. I remember her name. A lot of beautiful people, and Doris, she was in it, and I think Doris won.
Cynthia won.
Huh?
Cynthia won.
Cynthia won of them won. They're all fine here. So many fine women out there. I forgot all their names, but. I used to go with Cynthia too for a minute, a long time ago. But so that was that.
So again, did that experience, because you were there quite a while, and that after that you started doing the advertising and thing, but you eventually got into the civic part of your career, and was that all stemmed from where you came from
here's
as far
the
as
deal.
your jobs and
That I believed in making money because remember I was at Nicole's. That was the club. I was emceeing at Nicole's.
right,
And Nicole's was the first black, elegant, very elegant club we had in Dallas.
Right.
Of course, we had the Red Rooster, which was Rascals, but the most elegant club that black folks ever had in elegance. The first one, Bernie Hanyard, and it was Nicole's.
right,
Okay, I mean Nicole's had it going on. I mean it was just everything. It was, I mean, you know, that's when you first had to have a membership with a credit card and all of that stuff. You know, folks were drinking cognac and that was the drink in the tall stem glasses and all of that. I mean, the ambiance of it was that. And I was the host of the club. And on Tuesday night, Monday night we'd have something. Tuesday night, Thursday, Wednesday night, we had the gong show on Tuesday night gong show where we had the talent come in and we have a panel of judges and we had a real big gong and you know they get up there and try to sing and if you made it, yada yada. And then we had I remember we had the Bear Baby Strippers. I think the Bear Baby Strippers may have been on a Thursday night.
Bear Baby Strippers.
Yes, goodness. We had the Bear Baby Strippers. I would name them all. And the Bear Baby Strippers would be the ladies, and they would come out, and they had the bikinis on and all of that kind of stuff, whatever. And it was just a wild, and that was my wild day too now. But we had the Baby Strippers, and then, of course, we had the guys, I forgot the name we gave the guys that they stripped on a Tuesday night, maybe whatever it was. And all the ladies, the ladies' night, well, they were on Thursday night because it was the ladies' night. So the Bear Baby Strippers was on a Tuesday night. The Gong Show was on a Wednesday night. So we had it all planned out that way.